It's a big, noisy universe of stocks out there. Welcome to Goodbye or Goodbye. Our goal to help cut through that noise to navigate the best moves for your portfolio. Today, we're taking a look at two stocks with very different performances over the past month, but don't be fooled by short-term gains or losses. We're taking a look at the longer-term trends that will move these names over the next long term. I'm here with Vance Howard, CEO and portfolio manager at Howard Capital Management. Good to see you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
So let's start with the stock that you like, your Goodbye, and that is Salesforce. Now, Salesforce actually has risen over the past year or so, but then as we can see here, it has had that dip over the past month. So why do you like it, or you think it's actually oversold because of that dip?
Well, you look at a technical thing, and you look at a stock that drops 20% in one day. That wasn't your retail sellers, and in all probability, it wasn't your money manager. That was quantitatively driven for that much selling to happen that quick off that little piece of news. Salesforce is a wonderful company, wonderfully managed. It had just a slight hiccup in earnings and revenue, which is it can be overcome. But if you look at the long-term effects of what Salesforce is doing, as far as what AI is going on with AI, the fact that you're buying down here on a dip, as far as being an intermediate to long-term investment for investors, this is a great stock.
Talk to me a little bit more about that growth with AI, because it seems like one of the disappointments around the earnings for some investors was that it's not yet, I don't know, squeezing the juice out of that one yet, so to speak.
Well, you got to remember with AI, let's put it like on an 18-hole golf course. With AI, we're on hole number 1. So there's a long way for everybody to go, including Salesforce. But if they can bring Salesforce in over the next 12, 24 months, 36 months, and all of a sudden you reduce overhead by 10, 15, 20%, your earnings are dramatically going to go up. So if you're looking at a great long-term buy, I think Salesforce is the play. And I love recurring revenue.
Yep, let's get to that one. I mean, that's really the holy grail for most of these software companies. They want to have that subscription revenue. So you think it's working for Salesforce?
I think it's working great. And you know, Salesforce is not an easy tool to learn. So most people we have it at our office, by the way. It's not an easy tool to learn. So once you've educated somebody on how to use Salesforce, they're usually going to use it from here forward. It's an incredibly robust tool. We use about 20% of what they've actually built into the software. There's a ton we don't even use that we haven't learned about. It's that robust and that healthy of a piece of software. So as we start to grow, as the economy starts to come back and grow, inflation starts to drop, I think Salesforce at these levels are way oversold, and I think it's a great buy.
Gotcha. Okay, so what do you think could go wrong for Salesforce here?
I think what could go wrong is the economy, something that we can't see happen out there that nobody can really project or gauge or game. I think that could hurt the stock a little bit. Other than that, I think it's already washed itself out. I think that it's clean to go. I think you've hit it. It may come down to retest that low a little bit around, what, 216, and that's okay too. But right down here at these levels, I think it's a really good, strong buy.
Okay, well, let's get to the one that you do not think is a good, strong buy, and that is Spirit Airlines. Now, this stock has already tumbled a lot over the last year. It's down something like 75%, but it did have off a low base, but it had a little bit of a bump in the last month here. So why don't you like it? Well, I mean, they had a big piece of news with the merger falling through.
Well, this thing's falling apart. The debt level's unsustainable. They're losing revenue. In 2025, they're going to have 70 jets on the sideline for whatever reason being repaired or just out of service. 70. That's going to be a remarkable amount of air flights that aren't taking off with Spirit. It's a bad bet right now. In all probability, when you look at Spirit Airlines, it wouldn't surprise me in the next 6 to 12 months they're in bankruptcy. And that's not uncommon for airlines.
It is, although it has become less common, right? It used to be a lot more common. Is there another merger possibility out there for them?
They're going to let them die and buy them cheap at this point, because when JetBlue backed away, that was the tell. They're just going to let them die and come in if somebody wants to
get the
take them
parts,
up.
maybe.
Yeah,
okay, and you mentioned the growing debt load as well.
It's just exploding.
Yeah, is that also, you know, when you're shelving planes and not flying them, you still got to pay. You got to pay to park them, for example, right?
They're expensive. And to maintain them, you've got inspections that have to take place. You've got pilots that are on the payroll. You've got all these different factors that are driving up the debt that's unsustainable. Plus, you got revenues dropping and incomes dropping. And if you're losing a couple $100 million, it gets pretty unsustainable quick.
Yeah. So, I mean, not surprisingly, you think it's a high-risk buy here.
I think it's a void at all cost.
Yeah, gotcha. All right, so what could go right here? Maybe they could raise some capital.
Maybe a buyout. I think that's it. that is the one thing that they need to look at is they have some savior come in and pick them up.
Gotcha. All right. So, and just quickly here before we leave you, you own Salesforce?
We do.
I'm guessing
We
for
do,
what
yeah.
you're saying.
We
You use
disclosure,
Salesforce.
we own
you
it.
use
We own
Salesforce
it.
at your office, and you own Salesforce. Are you short spirited in any way,
No.
or you just don't own that
Just
one?
avoid.
Okay. Avoid it. All right, Vance. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Oh,
Thanks
thank
for
you.
coming in for Goodbye or Goodbye, and thank you for watching Goodbye or Goodbye. We'll be bringing you new episodes 3 times a week at 3:30 p.m. Eastern.